Denver Broncos, Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. We're going to have to cut the first take and then go to the second take. So I just need you to agree with everything I say. I'm just joking. But call this the drive to. This was Locke's drive. I am very happy for Locke. I am so happy. We got to let everybody know. We were during the third quarter. That's it. We packed it up, and we were ranting about how the Broncos ruined Elway, or how the Broncos ruined Locke. And Locke was able, while me and you were ranting, Locke was in a deep shell. There was no doubt he had just collapsed into a deep shell. You had wrote that this says a lot about Locke.
Mm-hmm.
The deep shell like he did to end up winning this game. And for all the Herbert worshipers out there, what do you have to say about Locke?
I'm sorry?
I said, with all the Herbert worshipers out there, what do you have to say about Locke?
I'm very impressed by Locke, especially on that late his drive. We'll say that's the Locke drive, like you said, to begin the show. I'm really impressed by Locke and how he bounced back from his first half struggles, especially his third quarter struggles. This is the Locke that I remember coming out of Missouri. That confidence, that you could just see the difference between the first half Drew Lock and the fourth quarter Drew Lock. You saw the swagger, you saw the moxie, and you saw the confidence. He was sticking in the pocket. And that's the one thing I noticed. He wasn't scrambling, like I saw a lot in the first half. He wasn't trusting his protection, and he wasn't trusting himself in the pocket. But what I saw him trusting the pocket and trusting himself more than anything. Trusting himself instead of throwing the check down pass, playing skittish, playing scared. But I texted him, I'm like, this drive will tell us a lot about Locke. Is he going to crumble under the pressure, or is he going to exceed the expectations, and is he going to lead this team down the field? And I believe that's what he did. I give a lot of credit to Pat Shurmur as well on that last drive. I'm not going to say he's, I'm not
the answer.
Yes. But I
think we're stuck with him. I think no matter what, because you just can't keep changing coordinators. You're just stuck with him now. You've got to keep building off of this. Go ahead.
That pass at the end of the game to Hamler was a beautiful pass by Locke. I think that is going to elevate his confidence going into the next game. I think that is going to help him a lot. I think he was in a slump. And I got to go ahead.
I just want to say one thing about that pass. If you really watch that, go take a look at that again.
Yeah.
You in the back of Locke is setting that corner up.
Yeah.
I think it was a corner. He's trying to get him to bite, and he did. He got him to bite. He sold it. Locke sold that to get him off that double coverage. That's what – it wasn't just the throw. It was the, baiting that corner to bite, and he did. It was just enough. He needed just enough room. He needed to get that in there. And thank God Hamler held on for dear life. And no, it's great. They can't – I don't know what the feel-good fans are going to say because, we were pissed off, and they were, that's it, Locke, that's done. Let's go on to Sam Bradford. They were all right. What are they going to say now? What are the feel-good fans going to say now?
Well, I think they're still going to say that he sucked for the first half, and that we need a quarterback that's consistent. But I got to tell, and you know what? When I was ranting, and I know, and even if we lost this game by 30, if we lost this game 30-24, I still wouldn't be as mad at Locke. Because we have to take this into consideration. This is his, 9th game? And we got to – I think I have to take a step back and be like, okay, this kid still needs more reps. He hasn't had a full 16 game season yet in his career. And I know that I'm jumping, I've always been a Lock guy, but that game winning drive, I texted it to you. I'm like, this is going to show us a lot about Lock. And,
well, the second half really did. We missed that, the coming back part of it. But that's just the last drive was great, but him getting out of his shell. There's not a lot of, we've seen it. We were just talking about how quarterback after quarterback, this franchise just puts quarterbacks into a shell. They lose their confidence when they get here. For him to come out of that shell and build off of it one play at a time, it says something about him. The Lock haters are going to be furious right now.
Oh, they're pissed.
Yeah. So, I'm happy for the kid because to my opinion, Lock has to overcome John Elway's crap decisions. He's got to overcome Shermer and all the bad advice he's been getting, the information overload. They had some sort of a COVID thing interrupting their practice. So he's had to and all the bad offensive line leading to his injury.
Well,
and I'm just saying, and all the time he had off this season alone.
Yeah, he didn't have a normal training camp like the past years. You know what I'm like? Does that make any sense? Like he hasn't.
Well, he didn't have that. But the thing is he also got his this season interrupted.
For sure.
Because we were hearing about how bad, horrible Herbert's line is. We truly do have not the greatest line. It took Bosa to get out of this game.
I know. Yep.
Because we don't have an offensive line. I think that's a point that needs to be not overlooked. We don't have the offensive line to really build a quarterback behind, and I'm blaming John Elway for it. He put so much into Garrett Bowles. The rest of the line has been pretty much, and the hiring of Juwan James, it's just one bad excuse after another. The Chargers have no claim on a bad offensive line like the Broncos do. I thought the Chargers offensive line played a pretty good game. They did.
Yeah.
It looked really good to me. They weren't perfect, but they certainly weren't this 30th line we've been advertised. Maybe they didn't play good against the Saints, but we're talking about current times now. They sure do look a lot better.
Yeah. I'd also like to bring this up. Isn't that a Chargers way, though? Blowing a 21-point lead. That's the Chargers from way back.
It seems to be the Broncos too, in a way. The Broncos, but that never would have happened if Lock didn't get out of his shell.
And I'm rooting for I'm not rooting for Elway. I'm not rooting for Shermer. I'm rooting for Lock here.
Yeah.
That's who I'm standing behind. For him to get out of his shell, not a lot of quarterbacks in the National Football League that get rattled like that can overcome that. That's
especially new quarterbacks. New quarterbacks especially.
Young quarterbacks.
Yes, exactly. So for them it's even more of an exclamation point.
What did that second, the fourth quarter, what did that tell you about Lock? What did that show you about Lock? Did that show you like this kid can overcome the circumstances that are being fed to him? Or do you think that this was just one of those games where Bosa was out, and if Bosa was playing in this game, that it would have been a different outcome?
Well, let's put it this way. If the Broncos had a decent offensive line, Bosa, he's a great player, but he wouldn't be enough of a factor if we had a good offensive line to rattle a quarterback. Granted, you got me once, but I'm going to get you on a different play. Mm-hmm. Somebody like Bosa. Yes, the Bosa being out of the game is a huge thing, considering we just don't have the personnel to stop somebody like him on the offensive line. That's on Elway. That's not on Lock. That's totally on Elway. He's had since Peyton Manning's been here to get this thing taken care of. That's strictly on him. So having Bosa gone certainly helps, But I'm just saying what I thought was, I started thinking, wow, maybe Lock is when me and you were ranting and I went to check the score and the Broncos kept scoring. And I'm thinking, well, Lock really must be Getting it on. He must be getting it on now. And then me and you went to watch the final drive. Basically, I think that's what we did. We watched the Broncos stop the Chargers, held them to a field goal, and then and you know what? Here's the other thing too. For all the Fangio haters, if the Broncos didn't have the defense, which actually packed it in on that when the Broncos
Bradley Chubb,
freaked
baby.
out right before the half, they packed it in at that time.
Bradley Chubb.
But one of the Fangio, not Elway, but one of the Fangio players, Callahan, intercepted the Herbert God. He intercepted God, and that's what seemed to be what turned the tide on the Chargers, was that Herbert God interception.
And that was the second interception of the day, too, ladies and gentlemen, that nobody will talk about.
No, because he's God. He's
Yep.
God. And you know what? I don't have anything bad to say about Herbert. I think Herbert.
He's in the right system.
He's in the right system. Let me tell you something about Herbert really quick. When I was watching the game, and it was against like Arizona State or something. It was, I think, one of the Arizona teams. I don't remember which one, but I believe it was an Arizona team. He was so bad, and they're not that great of a team. I mean, it wasn't the Sun Devils, it was somebody else. Like it was Arizona State or something.
It was Arizona State.
He was so bad in that game. He threw so many passes the other team that the coach decided to just start running the football. And that's what I noticed about Herbert. That guy, he can have lights out games, or he's Mr. Hyde and he's throwing more passes to the other team. Well, San Diego brought him in and started settling him down and just have him take things a step at a time.
Yes.
Because when I was watching game film of him, he would take what the defense gave him. Like, that's the smart thing to do.
Yep.
So give him credit for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would hit the big passes, built on, completions. You can't ask him to do any more than that. And that's what gives him confidence, and that's why he can. But, I mean, Hebert had to have been just shaking his head, because I'm sure they thought they had Lock. They crushed Lock, and that would be the end of Lock. And Lock came out of his literally a deep, deep shell.
Do you think that? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he came out of that deep, deep shell to bring the Broncos back.
Do you think that was Drew Lock's coming out moment?
Well, I'm hoping it is. But what I'm hoping, this is what I'm thinking, it should be under any normal circumstance.
Sure.
But he's not on a normal team. He's on a team that kills quarterbacks. Can they do like with Hebert, with Locke moving forward? Let's take it a step at a time. You had a great comeback. Let's not get over we're just going to start throwing the ball all over the place now. Yeah, I mean, bombs away.
Go ahead.
Let's just take what the defense gives us, step at a time, and build his confidence up so that we're not in this situation where we're having to come back. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not, like I said, I'm not overreacting to this game. I'm just happy for the kid.
Yes.
I'm just like when we first started this video. I'm happy for Locke because he is in a terrible situation with Shurmur, Shula, and John Elway in the player personnel. Number two, to all the fans that are Herbert lovers, I don't hate Herbert. I just hated the fact that you guys were calling him gods, because that makes no sense to me. No one is God. Okay, that's number one. Number two, Herbert is not that he is not a good quarterback, but the surrounding cast that the Chargers have put in front of him and the coaching staff that he has
gives him the best chance to succeed.
Progression.
Exactly.
It has helped him with his progression. I'm not saying I hate Herbert or Hebert or whatever people like to say. I'm just saying, don't start comparing him to the greatest quarterbacks that ever played this game, because there's already people starting to do that. And they're already saying that he's the second best quarterback in this division. Okay, how many games has he played? Just like with Locke. I was high on Locke even before he came in the National Football League. But I wasn't declaring him the second best quarterback in our own division. Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, I lived through when they brought in Roethlisberger. When they brought in Roethlisberger, all the people who can only see quarterbacks, okay, I always see it as a quarterback. I don't see anything else. They said that was the model of the quarterback of the future was Roethlisberger, and Roethlisberger was going to win 10 Super Bowls. Okay, that he was the they didn't foresee all the I'm hurt, I'm out for the season. They didn't. You know what I'm saying? There is no sure bets.
No.
Even with Brady, there wasn't a sure bet either. Okay, even with Mahomes, there's not a
pick.
Yes, there's no sure bet with Mahomes. It may be another 5 or 6 years before Mahomes goes to another Super Bowl. We don't know. We just don't know. Is what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like you said, jumping the gun. So we're looking at Locke. You took a huge step getting out of your own shell. That I don't even really blame him for being in. Really, it's because he's in this organization. And, will the organization give him the opportunity without overloading him? So he can learn to progress on a good level. Start throwing to all his receivers.
That's okay. Let's take that up and let's expand on that. Drew Lock is like any other rookie quarterback in the National Football League. If he has time to throw the football, you will see the good out of that quarterback. Just look what happened in the fourth quarter. Drew Lock had time because Joey Bosa was out. And look what happened. You saw the good out of Drew Lock. And then when you saw him get rattled and stuff like that, you saw the growing pains with Drew Lock. Now, I'm not going to jump the gun and say that Drew Lock's our franchise quarterback because I'm not going to be that type of guy.
No. We're looking at this we're looking at this and how to move forward.
Exactly. And how this is going to affect him moving forward, like you've said, starting this, I think it's going to help him immensely. And if it doesn't, that also shows a lot about Locke. But I said specifically on this drive, I said, this is going to show us a lot, and I mean a lot about Locke, that last drive that we had. And the way that he commanded the offense down the field and the way that he conducted himself in terms of a leadership standpoint and a confidence standpoint and a swagger standpoint. You saw him when they started to come out on the drive. He's doing this. He's not fazed by the moment. He's not fazed by the moment. He's confident in his play and in himself because he regained that confidence. You see when he doesn't have that confidence, when he doesn't have that swagger, it's like any other quarterback in the National Football League. They will struggle.
So I think we covered everything. I'm being called because I need to help somebody out right now. But I think this is a good starting point. But I think that going on, we see, let's keep it real, Von Locke. Let's see if the Denver Broncos cannot overwhelm him and just make this easy for him. Where again, let's go through some progressions. Let's not try to go bombs away, but also let's not put an offensive game plan that creates a self-destructing situation of 3 and outs too.
Yeah.
Let's meet somewhere in the middle where we're not being so conservative. We're cutting our nose off to spite our face, but let's not say bombs away either. Let's just go out there and loosen it up a little bit. Okay. Let's get, Lindsey more involved instead of Elway trying to make a point, which I think was really backfiring in this game. There's plenty that we could talk about that's bad in this game. But I think
I think that's something that we can expand on maybe this week or sometime is talk about the game. Because there's ultimately, on that last drive, signs of John Elway trying to shove people down our throat. But we can talk about that later.
Yeah, Gordon for taking Lindsey out of that. Exactly. So, so I think with this is basically Locke coming out of the shell. Yes. So with that, we'll just throw this out online really quick, and then we'll get back. Maybe I'll throw in our rant some other time. Maybe we'll talk before that and whatever. But I'll break down some film or whatever. But I'll get this posted here.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.